Hi everyone, welcome back. One of the hallmarks of running on filmmakers is the ability to improvise and create engaging visual for the audience, even without a script. Today, we are going to dive into the exciting world of improvisational filmmaking and share some tips on creating powerful storytelling in a known environment. So, if you are prepared to think on your feet and adapt to any situation, let's dive right in. The first thing is to capture various angles to establish the story context. Instead of immediately revealing the protagonist or subject, I created settings that allow the viewer to become immersed in the scene. What I do recommend is to employ my 3 shots sequence technique. By changing the frame perspective, you can convey different emotions and keep the viewer's attention. Feel free to experiment with close-up, medium shots, and wide shots to create dynamic sequences. As you film, think about how you will edit this clip together and to give the story a sense of continuity. The importance of human touch. While striking visuals of a location can be impactful, what truly resonates with viewers is the human element. That's why it's always a good idea to include people interacting with the location. You'll often find yourself working with unprofessional actors, so it's crucial to develop the skill of capturing their gestures. As you film, pay close attention to the emotion they convey through their facial expression and body language. This will help your audience to connect with the characters and become more invested in the story. Once you have incorporated people into your footage, always try to include a reaction shot. What is a reaction shot? A reaction shot refers to capturing an action that takes place on screen, followed by a separate shot showing the reaction from others in the scene. This can be a reaction from a human, or if you don't have any person on stage, an animal or any form with a perceptible personality. Reaction shots are the driving force behind any narrative, and they keep your audience engaged. To create a compelling story, make sure your scenes flow logically, with each action leading to a reaction or consequence. Always make sure that in front of the camera there is something happening. If the person in front of your camera appears too static or isn't performing any actions, create some action by asking them to perform a specific task. Keep in mind that your subjects might not be professional actors, so focus on simple and natural actions that suit both the individual and the story you're trying to tell. For example, if you're a filming craftsman, ask them to work on one of their pieces. If it is an athlete, request that they demonstrate a few moments of their performance. You know, the most emotional scenes are based on honest reactions. Your job as a director is to set up your actors for an experience in front of the camera. In this case, instead of telling the actors what they have to say, I simply arrange the ride for them. At this point, I manage to capture the emotions during the journey, and sometimes I ask them to stop in order to change my camera angle. In this way, I capture the performance that appeared authentic to the audience. Children in particular, they tend to work very well on camera because they are less self-conscious and more spontaneous. However, before starting shooting of them, always make sure you have the right permission to do that. Using lights to create drama. Let's discuss the power of light into the improvisation of filmmaking. Being able to quickly understand and utilize the lighting offered by the environment you're filming in can elevate your scene, creating drama and visually captivating moments. Embrace the opportunity to experiment with natural artificial light sources. When we are in a market or we are in a public environment, try to seek for natural or artificial lights. By positioning your subject closer or farther away from the light source, you can effortlessly control the amount of light and the resulting mood in your footage. By keeping these tips in mind, you will be well on your way to capturing unforgettable moments in any environment. Yes, a script is always a better thing. It's true, you can do great work without a script. However, planning your shots in advance is always the best approach. You don't need to write a detailed screenplay, but it's helpful to study the location you'll be visiting. It's especially important when creating a travel time video to familiarize yourself with local traditional customs, as this will help you craft a better story. Even though transition might not be the most critical aspect, the best ones are those where you are traveling to imagine connecting different scenes or different locations together. I always try to capture a specific style of shot. For example, I do a dolly shot in every location that I visit. This is providing me an additional tool during the editing time that helps to create a smooth transition between different parts of my story. Play with different techniques. In situations where you have no actors or subject available, or when you are struggling to find elements that can help construct your story, consider experimenting with unexpected techniques. For instance, using drone shots, hyperlapses, or time-lapses can be much more effective than traditional shots in capturing the viewer's attention and creating a dynamic narrative. Hyperlapses, in particular, is one of my most used techniques. This technique can be especially effective in creating or showcasing the passage of time, creating transition between one location to another, or capturing the energy and movement within a base environment. All the techniques that I have explained today, they can be put into practice even when using just an handheld camera or a smartphone. Many people often think that having the right equipment is essential for creating a more effective video. However, my approach is exactly the opposite. I first focus on building my story, and then I evaluate what kind of equipment I need to choose. Always remember that the key for a successful storytelling is to prioritize the narrative and the emotions you want to convey, rather than relying solely on high-end equipment. A strong story and engaging visual can be achieved through creativity, resourcefulness, and a deep understanding of your subject matter. So, remember to concentrate on the essence of your story and utilize the tools at your disposal, no matter how basic they may be. Here you have, guys. Now, with all these tips in your filmmaking arsenal, you will be able to create captivating stories in any kind of environment. But remember, improvisational filmmaking is all about embracing the unknown and finding creative solutions on the fly. So go out there, have fun, and let your imagination run wild. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more filmmaking tips and tricks. Until next time, happy shooting!